On Tuesdays, we get into the business side of things and we call it the Business Edge. I am Desmond Okreku Dan. So you can follow us live on our social media handles to be a part of the show. We're live on DSTV, also channel 277, and also on the Multi TV Digibox. We are live on there and also on radio 94.1 FM. Helen Anyeweja is standing by to bring us the news updates. But before that, I'll let you know what we're talking about today on Business Edge. We'll be focusing on the tariffs. You must have heard an increase in utility tariffs. What is the implication? We'll be hearing from some of the major stakeholders, and then we have a conversation coming up with that is Guta also about a few things in the business space, how the inflation is going, the indicators of the economy. We will see having single digits and all of that. How is that impacting their work? We'll get into the details of all of that on the show today. So Helen is standing by to bring us the news update. Hello, Helen.
Hello, Desmond. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon. Trust you're well.
Yes, I'm very well. How about you, Desmond?
I'm okay. Are you feeling the Christmas already?
Yes, already. I think Christmas came early this time around.
Definitely, I agree with you. Take us away.
Right. Okay, thank you very much, Desmond. My name again is Helen Anyeweja, and this is Good Afternoon, Ghana. It's time for us to take a look at the news updates. Let's get into the headlines now. The FP candidate at the center of the Pandai election rerun, Matthew Nyundam, says he remains unfazed following a notice from the Electoral Commission declaring the seat vacant. Minority Parliament. Good afternoon to you again. My name is Helen Anyeweja, and we are coming live to you from the Ikea Bahima studio here at Northridge. Let's get into our first story for this afternoon. The minority in Parliament has slammed the government's recent utility tariff increases, calling for immediate withdrawal of what they describe as punitive and unjustified hikes that will worsen the economic conditions of Ghanaians. This comes in response to the recent announcements by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, which approved a 9.86% increase in electricity tariffs and a 15.92% rise in water tariffs effective January 1, 2026 as part of its multi-year review from 2026 to 2030. But the minority insists the government must prioritize fixing systematic inefficiencies rather than passing the cost on consumers.
Gas price has not gone up. Exchange rate is going down. These are some of the factors. Exchange rate, the highest for this year was, I think, $15.527. Okay, that was the highest in this year. The lowest was 10.20. Currently, exchange rate is 10.30. So, why increasing? And inflation rate. Okay, these are the three factors. The inflation as at March was 22.4%. April was 21.2%. May 18.4%. And then June, the research says is going to be around 16%. So all the three factors, it has to be an increase because all the factors are going down. So we urge PURC to come up and explain to Ghanaians. And I'm going to also inform my chairman, that's the committee chairman, to summon PURC to come to the committee and come and explain to us. We can't accept this, that all of a sudden you just say you are increasing electricity tariffs to 2.45% without any explanation. What are the causes? We're supposed to even have a relief It's supposed to go down for Ghanaians to accept it. Because when you compare Ghana, a lifeline a consumer, okay, a lifeline consumer in Ghana pays 0.05 kilowatts per hour, lifeline. A standard residential, all of you, I know you are a standard residential, you are not lifeline because you are working. So a standard residential also supposed to pay around 0.12 to 0.16 in dollar term per kilowatt per hour. When you compare to Cote d'Ivoire, okay, it's the same. So why are you going to increase now?
Now, away from that, President John Dramani Mahama has commissioned the newly constructed Volta Regional Headquarters of the National Signals Bureau, a key agency under the National Security Secretariat. The facility forms part of government's broader agenda to decentralize national security operations to enhance intelligence gathering, early warning systems, and rapid response capabilities across the country. Our reporter Gabriel Asempa has more in this report.
The inauguration of the Volta Regional Headquarters of the National Signals Bureau marks a major milestone in the transformation of Ghana's national security architecture. The Bureau, which plays a critical role in intelligence gathering, cyber monitoring, and threat analysis, is being decentralized to ensure that regions have stronger operational presence to detect, prevent, and respond swiftly to emerging security challenges. In his remarks, the Interior Minister Mohamed Muntaka Mubarak has cautioned citizens who take advantage of technology to create panic and fear to desist from such acts, stating that the security services now have capacity to track any individual who engages in unlawful activities.
To our citizens who have made it their point to use technology, online, and other means to create panic and fear, the time for you to stop is here. And I can assure you, we will come after you. You will have to stop or we'll come after you. Now we have what it takes to track you, to observe what you are doing, to trace you wherever you are hiding. Let me re-emphasize, this facility is not to spy on you. It is to ensure that every citizen can go about his or her duty without watching his or her back and being afraid that others will intimidate them.
President John Dramani Mahama, on his part, explained that the new regional office is in line with his vision to build a modern and robust security framework capable of protecting the nation's territorial integrity.
But an economy that runs round the clock requires uninterrupted security, sophisticated surveillance, and modern intelligence capacity. That is why the inauguration of the National Signals Bureau Regional Command Center in Volta region is so critical because it will provide real-time monitoring, cybersecurity protection, border area surveillance, and early warning systems that safeguard the investments and enterprises operating within our new 24-hour framework.
President John Dramani Mahama also announced that the National Signals Bureau has been allocated a 100-acre parcel of land in the Volta region to establish a modern signaling center, which will serve as a training facility for all newly recruited personnel of the service.
The Signals Bureau has been giving land, 100-acre land, and so they're going to build the Signals Bureau Training Center here in the Volta region. And so all people who are employed to the Signals Bureau, because it's a security service, will be brought to that training center to be trained from all over Ghana before they are deployed to their various units.
The commissioning of the Volta Regional National Signals Bureau headquarters signals a more proactive, technologically driven approach to national security management.
Now, away from that, the Nanton constituency executives of the ruling National Democratic Congress are calling for the immediate removal of district chief executive for the area, Abdul Rahman Zinab Rosina, describing her as a destructive leader who could destroy the fortunes of the government and the NDC party if she's left in office by the president. The Nanton NDC executives at a press conference after presenting a formal petition to the presidency, NDC National Party, and the Northern Regional Party accused the DCE of diverting government fertilizer in the district for the personal use and lack of judicious use of district funds as well.
Today we speak not out of malice, but out of duty and loyalty to our great party, to our hard-working grassroots, and to His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, whose vision to reset and transform Ghana depends greatly on unity and discipline at all levels of government. The purpose of this press conference is that we are here publicly to express our grave concerns regarding the conduct and actions of the District Chief Executive for Nantong, Honorable Abdurrahman Rosina Zainabu, whose stewardship, in our respectful view, poses a direct threat to the cohesion, progress, and electoral prospects of the NDC in this constituency. After months of restraint, internal engagements, and several attempts at resolution, the situation has worsened. It has therefore become necessary to inform the President, the general public, our supporters, and the national leadership of the party of the issue at hand. Key issues we want to be addressed. Key issues of concern that made this press conference a need for us today are as follows. Diversion of fertilizer intended for farmers by the DCE. The government interventions such as Savannah Agricultural Value Chain Development Project, SADEP, are meant to support farmers and reduce poverty. However, we have credible reports that about 600 bags of subsidized fertilizer allocated to the district were diverted and sold to private retailers under the direction of the DCE. This act is a betrayal of the trust of our farmers, a departure from the NDC principles of accountability, and a clear example of corruption that has angered the very people we have stood with our party in difficult times.
Ghana has launched its National Adaptation Plan, marking a significant milestone in the country's climate resilience journey. The National Adaptation Plan is aimed at strengthening the country's resilience to climate change while advancing its broader development agenda.
The event held in Accra brought together government officials, development partners, civil society organizations, and community leaders. The plan outlines priority actions across 5 sectors, including agriculture, water resources, infrastructure, health, and disaster risk management. It sets out a 5-year roadmap to integrate climate adaptation measures into national policies, improve early warning systems, promote climate-smart agriculture, and protect vulnerable communities from flooding and drought. Delivering the keynote address on behalf of the Acting Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Chief Director of the Ministry, Suibatu Adams, at the launch, urged Ghanaians and civil society groups to join efforts to implement the plan.
The NAP sets a long-term framework for reducing climate vulnerability and strengthening resilience in climate-sensitive sectors. It identifies priorities, adaptation needs, outlines sectoral and district-specific actions, and establishes systems for coordination, financing, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning.
Director of Climate Change and Ozone at the Environmental Protection Authority, Felix Ado Ochre, in an address said implementing the National Adaptation Plan must be a shared responsibility.
In fact, the issue about climate change affects more of our people within the communities, and therefore we want to mainstream it and bring everybody on board.
Nana Dr. Enchibosia Ko Amwa, coordinator of the National Adaptation Plan, said government has taken steps to build a resilient economy against the dangers of climate change.
Ghana has taken some steps in trying to build resilience against the hazards of climate. And this has been a journey of about 4 years. And so we are here today to publicly tell Ghanaians and the rest of the world that this is the work that has been done, and then what will be needed for us to be able to implement the adaptation strategies or plans that have been developed. So it's about building climate resilient economy.
At the launching, partners were also engaged for possible collaboration, investment, and the next steps on the National Adaptation Plan implementation in Ghana.
Politics now. The Parliamentary Service has formally notified the Electoral Commission of a vacancy in the membership of Parliament for the Kpandai constituency following a court order mandating a rerun of the 2024 parliamentary elections in that area. The notification dated 4th December 2025 marks the official commencement of the administrative process required to organize a rerun to fill the vacant seat. The outcome of the rerun is crucial for the representation for the people of Kpandai. The letter addressed to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, has issued and signed by Ebenezer Ahoma Jethro, the Clerk of Parliament. The action was taken in exercise of the power conferred and duty imposed on the Clerk to Parliament by Article 112, Section 5, as amended of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The document formally notified the EC of the vacancy occasioned by the order of the High Court Tamale for a rerun of the Kpandai parliamentary elections given on the 24th day of November 2025. This notification is a direct consequence of a court order delivered to the Clerk to Parliament as the fourth respondent in the suit. Now, Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Emmanuel Smith, has been visiting churches across the U.S., engaging both clergy and congregants on the country's development agenda and the role of the diaspora in communities and national development.
The ambassador's visits included Mount Zion Presbyterian Church in Worcester, Massachusetts, where Pastor Eduardo Aje welcomed him and the congregation. During the visit, Ambassador Smith interacted directly with congregants, answering questions and sharing insights on Ghana's reforms and the importance of ethical governance. At the Church of Pentecost Church Central, Pastor Samuel Forden led prayers for a committed government and a responsible opposition, emphasizing the critical role of faith communities in supporting democracy and accountable leadership. The ambassador also visited ICGC's Holy Ghost Temple, engaging clergy and congregants in discussions about opportunities for diaspora collaboration in Ghana's development initiatives. At the International Central Gospel Church in Worcester, Ambassador Smith elaborated on his views regarding U.S. immigration policy and emphasized the need for strategic investment in home countries.
People just don't finish, and all they are looking for is visas to get out of the country. It pains me personally. So by example, about my own life, it's what I share with people. When I told them that I will go back to Ghana, and at the time I was going, I had only 40 pounds on me. And people were thinking, like, what are you going to do? Why don't you stay here and find a job to do? At one point, I was driving a minicab. I said, no, but I must go home. Because with my qualifications, I'm sure I'll get a good job and I'll feel respected. So when I came back into UK as High Commissioner, I met some of my friends. They've retired, not having done much, but they came to visit me. I said, I told you. You will get recognition when you go back to your country and help build your country.
The ambassador's outreach underscores the Ghanaian government's commitment to inclusive development and its recognition of faith-based leaders and diaspora communities as vital partners in promoting ethical leadership and national progress.
Away from that, let's turn our attention to education now. As a senior lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba has urged more teachers to take up the study and teachings of the Ga Dangme language. According to her, while the number of graduates increase every year, only few venture into the study of languages. She was speaking at the graduation ceremony of the University of Education, Winneba.
In recent years, there has been a decline in the learning and teaching of Ghanaian languages. It is on the back of this that the Universal Kindness Outreach, which exists to restore quality of life by eliminating barriers to success through education, entrepreneurial development and community development, sponsored 4 students to study the Gadangbe language at the University of Education, Winneba. Speaking at the graduation of the student, Country Director of Universal Kindness Outreach, Pastor Comey Williams, urged the students to be good role models in society. I want to encourage the graduates in this field to demonstrate exemplary leadership and help others behind them also attain this level of success. Dr. Yvonne Olenu is a senior lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba. She urged more teachers to be interested in the Ga language.
The students are not so many, so we still encourage people to come and learn. We still encourage. The numbers are a little bit dwindling of late, but we encourage everybody to come and learn the language. We still go on enrollment. Currently, we are still selling forms, so you can apply. Even if you are waiting your results, you can apply now, and you are mostly welcome. You see the difference when you come to the university.
The students were grateful to Universal Kindness Outreach for their support.
I would thank Universal Kindness Outreach for their immense support towards my 4-year stay at the University of Education, Winneba, with the BA in Ga Education. They did well for my level 100, my hostel, school fees, administrative work. Every year they will just make sure your fees are intact, you are good to go to school. I'll thank the board, management, and the members of UCO this morning. May God enlarge their post. May God really bless them.
Let's turn our attention now to other matters as the Deputy Minister of Finance, Thomas Ampem Nyarko, has announced that government is set to review the Statistical Service Act's decision reinforced by 207 million cedis budget allocation to advance critical operations, upgrade GDP, rebasin and complete key national service. The Deputy Finance Minister spoke at the inaugural edition of the annual forum for data producers and users as well as enhancers.
The annual forum for data producers, users and enhancers created a platform for researchers, development partners and representatives from the government and private sector to explore financing models and examine innovations aimed at improving Ghana's data ecosystem. The Deputy Minister of Finance, Thomas Nyarko Ampem, in his keynote address, reaffirmed government's commitment to embedding the financing and coordination of national statistical systems.
Another transformative measure is the launch of Ghana in Numbers, a new annual visual, globally benchmarked data publication designed to turn statistics into compelling narratives for the public and policymakers. To reinforce this ecosystem, government is reviewing the Statistical Service Act to further strengthen the independence, authority, and global standing of the Ghana Statistical Service.
Government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu also called for consistent investment that matches the scale of Ghana's development ambitions.
One of the things I'm sure the review of the Act will do would be to review the Act in a way that it will increase the independence, the operational independence of the service. The other thing we just talked about is the sustainability of financing the core programs of the service. And that's one of the things this forum will do. We can't have a data production system, production and dissemination system and use system where the bulk of the data is funded by development partners. That's not a sustainable path. We have to reverse it. I was very happy when we had the Deputy Minister on behalf of the Minister actually assure all of us that government is prioritizing data.
The annual forum for data producers, users and enhancers was held under the theme Financing Innovations in Data and Statistics for Sustainable and Inclusive Development.
We're from that the Eastern Regional Security Council has urged natives of Kwewu to exercise restraint, assuring swift investigation into escalated ongoing chieftaincy disputes.
The minister speaking at the meeting was aggrieved that the Kwewu traditional area covering 1/3 of the whole region of the Eastern region and arguably the tourism hub, instability in that area would be a big blow to her leadership and the region as a whole. Hence, her commitment to see a peaceful resolution.
Because as an Ebenya Sundre, our Eastern region, this is a Kweusu, Enya Sundre. I have some big brain. I know you know. There was scratches. One woman said, we started from Regional House of Chiefs. Now, we do National House of Chiefs. Yensu, Yebepe, say Anka Regional House of Chiefs. Ebeye na family. Nania, Ontini Yellow, Obetinia Refema, National House of Chiefs. Na, Senior Bear, main to be region, meeting.
Leading the Kwewu Traditional Council delegation, the Kwewu Adontinghene and Chief of Abetifi, Achemfor Esiedu Ajman III, explained that the IGP, upon receiving the council's petition, indicated that he did not order the dawn raid and urged them to also petition the Eastern Regional Security Council, hence their reason for the visit.
As I order from above, you mean baby as I order the other. And I see you security away seeing the other. Man, on some shit. It will be an above and also no. It will be real views because we are taking certain initiative on South here. His Excellency Yamawa, Osha Soma, no. Now, Eastern region, una done. It is a president and Kasaba Kope, anyway. It is ordered from above. Now you call regional police headquarters, national police headquarters. Now, IGP so ni mo ho bibia e bia na ma me ni mo ho asem bia na wa tren ye ko ebi se ne be ye na ye be sakra na order na ntin free about so bibia.
For the news updates this afternoon, my name is Helena Nyeweja, and this is where I take leave of you as I hand over to Desmond, who is standing by.
Thank you very much, Helen, for bringing us the news updates. But before you go, 20th December is the Metro TV Jollof Festival. I like my jollof with, goat meat. Okay. Yeah, it makes it very, the aroma is different. Right. All one side by side. How do you like yours?
Well, I love chicken, grilled one for that matter. And also, some veggies on the side. And I love Ghana jollof.
Yes. Of course, definitely. It's going to be Ghana jollof over every other jollof. But yeah. I want to check or taste the chicken jollof. Right. There's also the amane jollof. Sure. And all of those. So on the 20th of December, all of that will be present here at our premises here at Northridge. So make sure you're coming with all your friends, your family, be part of the Metro TV Jollof Festival. I'm already, maybe after the show, I'll go get some jollof. Yeah. Thank you very much, Charlie, for bringing us the news updates. You're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana and the Business Edge. That's what we're getting into. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're talking to GAU, General Agricultural Workers Union, about the agricultural space and all that. And later we talk about the hikes that have come into the space. The minority in the House are saying that it should be, taken off. TUC has also been talking about it. We'll be getting into all of those details on the show. So stay with us. We'll be back with Business Edge.
Uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hush, star
712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Computer to jet be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
God, Kwamio!
Senya, God, the apple boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me way.
Yeah,
man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic!
And he followed the prompts. Yes, and then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment seminar? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Dear Santa, all I want this holiday
is special family time.
Whenever you come around family, you can find love.
To go on an adventure.
Tickets to every game. Some giggles.
And a puppy.
Let's go!
Yippee!
This holiday, simply stay connected and get all you want on DSTV, your home of entertainment.
Welcome back. As you know, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do Business Edge here on the show. My name is Desmond Okrekudanso, and you can join us on our socials, Metro TV Ghana, and also on DSTV channel 277. And, well, before we begin with our conversations in studio, we're going to begin with an interview where the Member of Parliament for Wa East and Chairman of Parliament, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Seydou Jassel, has outlined key government policies and interventions aimed at strengthening support for farmers and making sure that they're able to revive the agricultural sector. And he spoke in an interview with my colleague Dominic Ansapra. Let's take a listen to Honorable Seydou Jassel. I'll be back and continue with the rest of the show.
So for the first National Farmers Day celebration just ended. Throughout the week, we are still celebrating farmers as it stands. And today, on Good Afternoon Ghana, we are discussing farmers and also interventions and what have you with farmers and what we should look out for and what we should do to enhance their work. Today, we are seated here with a Member of Parliament for Wa East, Honorable Seydou Jassel, and also a chairman or chairperson on the Select Committee on Agriculture, which we want to dig deeper into matters regarding agriculture, the aftermath of the 41st National Celebration, National Farmers Day celebration actually, and also matters regarding them. He's here. Let us hear from him. I know he went there, but let us dig deeper as to what happened. We all saw what happened. It was a national event, and Ghanaians love it at large. But let's hear from the chairman himself, the man that speaks for the agri sector. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominic. How are you?
I'm doing so well.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
I can
too.
see you looking good. I'm sure you've eaten your lunch already. And,
I have.
Thanks to the farmer. Thanks to the Ghanaian farmer.
Certainly, thanks to the Ghanaian
and
farmer.
I'm told that you love made in Ghana food. So
sure.
Once we are processing in Ghana and we are consuming made in Ghana, that's the first short step.
Oh no, my favorite is fufu. And then
So clearly, we cannot import fufu to you from the Volta region.
Yes.
I had lots of that when I was in Volta region.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, and let me join you in congratulating Ghanaian farmers on this 41st anniversary, and that has been a very successful one. First of all, as you would know, the idea of the Farmers' Day celebration is literally a commemoration of the Ghanaian farmer, to celebrate the Ghanaian farmer. This was enacted some years ago, 1985, I believe, by President Rawlings, after the hunger of 1983. And so, since then, Ghanaian farmers demonstrated resilience. They worked so hard and produced food to turn around the hunger situation. And so it was important that the Ghanaian farmer is recognized, selected, recognized, and praised, so that, one, it will encourage the Ghanaian farmer to continue to produce and work hard, and two, it will encourage others to emulate the example that has been rewarded. And thank God it's been on in the last 41 years. And this year's, being the 41st, was marked in Ho. And I'm sure we all observed what happened. It was a very successful event because it defined agriculture, placed agriculture as the arrowhead in the economic transformation agenda of this government.
Sorry to cut you, sorry to interject.
That's
Why the pick out? Why the selection to hold?
So, as you would know from the briefings that the Ministry of Agriculture has given us, this annual event is usually rotated around the country. And so all regions, now 16 regions, it used to be around 10 regions. Now 16 regions is rotated around the country. So this year, the ministry's technical team thought that Volta region was the next stop for the National Farmers' Day celebration. At the same time, the current government has a very deliberate program and policy that is supposed to transform the Volta region into an economic enclave for this country. Volta region has a lot of advantages. One principal one is the arable agricultural land. You drive through every part of Volta region and you see huge potential of agriculture. At the same time, the Volta region hosts the Lake Volta. So there's potential for Volta Lake transportation. So you would agree that the logistics of carting farm produce from production centers to consuming centers or market centers has been a huge problem because of the kind of road network we have. But the Volta Lake introduces a huge potential for transportation of these produce. And so that's one. So there's a Volta Economic Enclave program that is being developed.
It's very positive.
Yes. At the same time, Volta region also has an industrial enclave that is being developed that is geared at processing the produce, the primary produce that we produce from our agricultural space. And so with this temperature, with this proximity, with the kind of potentials that it has, I think it's also appropriate that locating a big event such as the Farmers' Day in such a place is going to have that twin objective of raising consciousness of the populace there and draw attention to the potentials of that enclave to make sure that all of us can contribute effectively to realizing that potential.
But how's the reception like?
It was great. Volta and the people of Ho and the Volta region at large are ever receptive. They are one of the best group of people you can ever meet, very hospitable. And so The reception has been good. The reactions of the ordinary people to Farmers' Day, the exhibitions that were demonstrative of their own produce, the agricultural innovations, the research that was demonstrated, all can tell you that yes, Volta region indeed received the Farmers' Day. They hosted it successfully, and it has said, it has given an imprint. It has told a story. It has sent a message.
You know, when we're having our soft conversation, you know, the background, you made mention of whatever intervention projected during the celebration, if implemented, will take Ghana far. What are some of the interventions projected by the Agric Minister and the President that you feel, if we should deepen our legs in it, it will bear fruit? So the Ghanaian farmer will be okay, and then the Ghanaian people at large will also be okay.
Thank you, Dominic. You see, the current government is implementing the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda. Now, this means that the agric sector is going to be the arrowhead that will drive all economic transformations in this country. 72% of this country is largely rural, agrarian. And so the rural economies of 70% of this country is hinging around agriculture. And so if you can get interventions in agriculture right, it means that you are developing or transforming 70% of the population. And so this government took a social contract in its manifesto of 2024 elections that it was going to embark on an agriculture for economic transformation agenda. Now, it further dovetailed into a program called the Feed Ghana program that is supposed to operationalize the agriculture for economic transformation agenda. And so the Feed Ghana program has got 8 components that have been well thought out. One of them is crop development. Now, the crop development, some specific crops have been selected in cereals, rice, maize, sorghum, has been selected as the arrowheads. Then you come to the tubers, roots and tubers, of course, yam. We are now positioning the yam subsector for export of this country. So you go to the Bimbla Belt, the Northeastern Belt, and these are huge yam producing enclaves. So you see that in the 2026 budget, a bridge is being proposed to go across the Volta to from Dambai and so on. This is going to facilitate movement of people and agricultural commodities, particularly yam. Now, you have other related interventions in that light that are supposed to drive this transformation agenda. And so the Feed Ghana program has that. It also has other programs like tree development, and some specific tree crop development has been earmarked for promotion. So oil palm is one of it. What you see is that you know our story between Ghana and Malaysia on oil palm. So far, it's been 60 years. We haven't done much about oil palm. And so now what's going to happen is that in the 2026 budget, 500...
Why should it be that? Sorry about that.
So we have not focused as a country on consistency and consciously developing the oil palm subsector. What has happened is that we've left it in the hands of individuals who are not supported farmers to be able to increase acreages, increase production, increase value addition for oil palm. And now there's this consciousness that no, we cannot continue that, especially that we are having huge, if you like, recent bitter lessons about the cocoa. Bitter lessons because we've allowed cocoa to be in the hands of individual cocoa farmers. Now, these individual cocoa farmers and the decisions they take are what the country relies on as its backbone. Remember the role of cocoa in our economy. Recent developments show that due to climate change, cocoa production has been going down. At the same time, you have the threat of galamsey. And then you have the economic decisions of these individual cocoa farmers who will decide whether to sell their plot of land, their plantation, to a galamseyer, or they should keep producing. And they take rational decisions. If they are earning less from cocoa sales, then the rational thing is to give out their cocoa land. Now, you cannot do anything about it because it's the individual that owns the farm.
Exactly.
And so there is a conversation that we need to have a buffer, a security of some acreages of cocoa plantations that we can be sure that these are always there. They can be state-owned, they can be state and private sector-owned, but you have a minimum guaranteed acreage of a plantation for cocoa. The same model is being rolled out for oil palm. So there's 100,000 hectares proposed in this year's budget where we are going to establish that plantation as a buffer. At the same time, promote individual plantations for oil palm. That way, you can have the oil palm, we call it the red gold, because if you look at this potential, it cuts across just like the share. So there's that deliberate development of the oil palm sector. At the same time, there's a deliberate development of the shea sector, because if you go to northern Ghana, I mean, it's easy in the landscapes to see homogeneous plantation or landscape of shea trees and so on and so forth. So that resource is there. So a factory is being developed to be able to process this into butter for export and consumption of the local industry. The same for cashew. So an industry is being proposed for the Brong Ahafo region, well, former Brong Ahafo region, to be able to process this cashew locally. And so there are deliberate steps, there are deliberate proposals under the Feed Ghana in the crop development subsector, the tree crop development subsector, and at the same time, vegetable subsector, where we have the Yeridria program, where vegetables, some specific vegetables, i.e. pepper, onions, and then carrots, are being promoted by the ministry under a greenhouse system and deliberately selecting some progressive farmers that will anchor the production of these selected commodities. So it's been a very thought out program that you have these subsectors going on. And if you leave the crop subsector, there's also a component of the Feed Ghana that has to do with livestock.
Right.
And so you have small ruminants development that is also being promoted. Specific farmers are selected to be able to benefit from that program and then catapult the production. Then you have poultry. And there's already a poultry intensification program. And then a second component of it is also the Nkoko Kitinkiti program that you have. So this Nkoko Kitinkiti...
How's that doing so far?
So far, so good. Because you see, one good thing about the Nkoko Kitinkiti thing is that it has raised consciousness of the masses.
Are you a proof of the evidence of it, that it's doing so well?
Yes, it's taking off. It's just taking off. Yes. But the point I'm making is that it's the way it's being handled so far and being modeled is that it has raised consciousness.
Right.
So you have private individuals. Most of our friends want, oh, Doc, I've done my poultry farm.
Yes.
When am I getting my Nkoko? Oh, I've bought some feeder stock. I've done this. I've done this. So that consciousness tells you that Ghana is ready to get into production of poultry so that we can save ourselves that 300 million annual importation of poultry, dollar annually. If we can save ourselves that money and then use it and apply it back into local production. So 10,000 poultries per district is huge. And if you can have it in all 261 districts, that's something that potentially can be revolutionary. And that means that if we are able to implement this, we are not going to spend our hard-earned currency importing poultry whose age you don't know, how long it stayed in a freezer you don't know. And so even health-wise, it's safer for us to grow this. So in summary, Dominic, you will realize that the Feed Ghana, the Agriculture for Economic Transformation program, operationalized through the Feed Ghana program that we are having now, is deliberate, is touched on the issues that we need, and then is selected crops and show the implementation plan in ways that I'm convinced that if we roll out the implementation, we are going to have food self-sufficiency in this country. Not only that, there are soft aspects of it, which is addressing some of the challenges we face in our agricultural space. One of the critical challenges is credit. One of the critical challenges is financing.
And when you say credit, what do you mean by
so the farming enterprise requires it has a huge cost demand on the farmer and the operations. Now, typically our financial institutions describe agriculture as highly risky, and so it's not easy to get a loan normally. If you get a loan at all, it comes at a very high interest rate.
That's
and
true.
this becomes very costly. And President Mahama referred to it in Ho when he declared that we are aiming for a single-digit interest rate for agriculture.
Yeah.
So clearly, this is crystallizing what I'm saying.
And is it going to be achievable?
It is
within the 4-year
achievable
term?
because I'm very confident with the macroeconomic indices we are recording. If this is government's deliberate policy, and with the programs that I've outlined, I'm confident that production, the productive capacity of the economy will be improved.
And I'm listening to some of the farmers, during their celebration. These are some of the concerns they tabled out. Interest rates and all that, taking loans to, enhance their farming and what have you. And then some proposal with some farmers had to do with even acquisition of lands, own them and then, farm and all that. There are some MCs that also brought up some sort of policies and intervention as to creating a first aid point where farmers will bring their crops, to a display where people will come to that point and then purchase them. These are some of the complaints by these farmers.
So the complaints are legitimate. That is these are some of the challenges we have in the sector. And what I'm saying to you is that the programs and activities I've outlined are actually designed to address these challenges. And so, for example, the access to credit is a huge problem because you're asking of collateral. You're asking for some conditions that the banks have that the ordinary farmer cannot meet them. And so what is being done is that there's a huge conversation with the private sector and the banking sector such that we can repurpose the conditions for granting agricultural loans.
Okay.
Now, if we can achieve this, at the same time, the macroeconomy's performance is such that it can translate into that single-digit interest rates that we are talking about. Because interest rates actually are coming down already. Food price inflation is coming down already.
Yes.
The aggregate inflation is down to about 6.3 now.
Right.
And the food price inflation, I think as of October, is 9.5. So it's also single-digit. And so if you can have guarantees that these operations are going to yield the production outputs, then financial institutions with government support and guarantees can be able to bring down interest rates.
Right.
And that is what we should all call for. That is what the farmer needs. If the farmer can get this, it means that he's operationalizing his activities at a low cost. If you are operationalizing these activities at a low cost, it means that you can be competitive. If you are competitive, then there will be no need for your consumer to prefer an outside imported commodity whose price may be lower.
Right.
And so if you can produce at lower cost, then you can be competitive enough. And if you can be competitive enough and will have a market, then you have the returns that will help you service the loans that you are talking about. And so clearly, I see this as one of the best models that we can roll out in our agricultural space. And I see a lot of potential in it, and I call on every Ghanaian to support it.
We engaged the General Secretary for General Agriculture's Workers Union. That is Honorable Andrew Sadokwe Tego.
Yes.
And he made mention of we don't have a body that sets policies and regulation for farmers. So they are calling for agricultural system service, like we have the Ghana Education Service, we have the Ghana Health Service. They are also calling for a Ghana System Service, where they will be implementers of policies for farmers. There will be, they can bring some sort of interventions that you are calling on. It wouldn't be solely political, but they will take in charge of that. What do you also make of it?
Well, it sounds plausible, except that we don't have time. And to be honest with you, I don't think the solution is in creating additional bureaucracies. What you are saying may sound nice, it's plausible, but that also is going to bring some other additional cost of creating that additional layer of bureaucracy, which will take time for farmers to appreciate the role of this bureaucracy and so on and so forth. And where we are, climate change, the dangers we are facing, I don't think we have time for such bureaucracies. What I think as a soft solution to the challenge and the approach they are taking is that the government is also promoting what they call CCFCs, which means community commodity farmer cooperatives.
Right.
Community commodity farmer cooperatives. Now, this is a concept that government is going to implement its programs under the Feed Ghana using that route. It means farmers are grouped into a commodity cooperative now in all the communities. And so when you talk about aggregates and selling points, these cooperatives becomes points for aggregating farmers' network, for aggregating farmers' produce quantities, for deciding and negotiating kind of market arrangements they can have for their produce. They can have, it becomes a platform for negotiating where to source inputs, at what cost, where to source credits, at what cost, where they source machinery, farm operational machinery, at what cost, where to source extension support, at what cost. Now, if you have your operationalization being routed under cooperatives, then I'm confident that this is going a long way to be able to get our agricultural transformation that we are looking for.
Oh, no, finally, what is happening in Parliament? What reports have you tabled? So
we've tabled the paper. We've laid a paper on the Agric 2026 budget. Tomorrow we'll take the report and we will ask Parliament to approve about 3 billion Ghana cedis that has been allocated to the ministry. And so tomorrow that's the major activity, and then we will take some more reports from different committees. I'm told the Environment Committee, that I'm also a member, will be tabling its report as well. But please allow me to make this final comment that what we experience now is that we seem to have a lot of food in the system. That's positive. Now, what we are challenged with now is the logistics of moving this food around to make sure that prices are stable. It's the logistics of processing the food so that we don't have gluts in the system. And so at the last briefing that the Ministry of Agri came to my committee, it was clear that they are exploring a cottage industry kind of approach in industrializing. So you don't need that huge capital investment to put huge factories in order to process food. So rice, paddy rice processing is one clear intervention that they are trying to make. So they are going to select progressive farmers in the rice producing enclaves and then support them to set up cottage-like industry, whose size you don't need more than the space of this office. And then when you get that, then they can always buy this and process. Remember, the president has given a directive that school feeding programs should be supplied with processed, Ghana processed rice. And so we don't feed the students with paddy rice. It has to be milled. And so where are the meals? And so it is in response to this that you will have many more meals in this cottage-like industry fashion. They will buy these paddies and then mill the rice. So that will be producing Ghana rice that can be sold to these schools and you and I, which we know already that are healthy forms of rice. And so this kind of interventions are so practical. They are so responsive to the challenges we are facing. And so, Dominic, it's a question of time. Let's give time for implementation, and we'll have opportunity to evaluate the efficacy of these implementation, these proposed implementation activities, and then see how they are contributing to food security.
But do you also support the call by the Deputy Agri Minister that all industries or restaurants in Ghana should use local?
Yes, I support that fully, because I think that if we, the consuming public, can focus on buying our own, that's the only time we can develop. And so, local restaurants, our institutions should all focus on made in Ghana rice in particular. And you see, now there's a good reason you should do that. One, the forex that we use to export it, the relative exchange rate is lower.
Right.
And so as it comes in, and there are all these interventions on inputs to the production, if the interventions are efficient, then it means the cost of production is going to come down. And so the prices are competitive.
That's right.
And these days there's evidence that the rice, the made in Ghana rice that you used to buy at maybe 150 for 5 kg is now selling about 80 cedis and below. And so it means prices of these are actually coming down. So if you look at it properly, they have become competitive. And so there's really no point buying the imported polished rice when you can have local produce, processed, polished, and local processed milled rice. And I want to call on every Ghanaian that this is so key to our transformation agenda. I want to invite all Ghanaians. It's more healthy. Let's go. But all of you, please have some backyard garden. Let's produce the onions.
Including Parliament?
Including Parliament. Indeed, I invite Mr. Speaker, and I have spoken to him on this already, that Parliament as an institution should think of our Parliament's farm. And it's easy to do that. Once we do that, then this farm can supply us with our eggs.
Right.
It can supply with our poultry. And Parliament itself can become a cooperative. And so we'll sell to ourselves and sell to our workers and our supporting staff, including our journalist friends who come to support us. And so this food becomes available to you at affordable price, and so you become food secure.
What was the reception by the Speaker of Parliament?
Mr. Speaker is very happy. You know, he's a farmer already, so he's very excited about it. In fact, he says when he comes back, we'll have a meeting and see how we can operationalize this. And I'm all ready for it.
Well, so he's all ready for it. We're speaking to Honorable Seidu Jasso, who is the chairman for the Agric Select Committee in Parliament, and also Wa East Member of Parliament. We're discussing matters concerning agriculture, farmers, and interventions and policies that will help. This is good afternoon, guys.
Right, so there you had my colleague Dominic Ansapra speaking to the Member of Parliament for Wa East and Chairman of Parliament's Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Honorable Seidu Jasso, about a number of things in the agricultural space, including policy, including how to transform the sector on the back of the 41st National Farmers' Day that was held on December 5 in the Volta region. The very last bit is one that I think a lot of us have neglected. Many a times you would see a lot of people put up homes, and these days you don't see gardens, you don't see, this small space where you could just, plant a few things. It's not happening. I think it's something that we could really push towards as a nation, and also how we can end the glut. A lot of that happening. We've seen the onion glut, we've seen the egg. A lot of that happening in the sector, and how we can transform that. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back on Business Edge, we'll be speaking to the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union. Now, for GAWU, they have a concern that they want to be addressed, and they're calling for the establishment of an independent regulatory body to oversee the country's agricultural sector. And that's what GAWU is saying. Quite interesting one from them, as we've seen this conversation from Parliament also, and some of the things that were said. We just oppose that with the concerns from GAWU, the General Agricultural Workers Union, and I'm sure it's definitely going to be an exciting conversation. So stay with us. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly.
Christmas, Cattle's Agri Limited is bringing you freshness, flavor, and festive joy straight to your home and office. Right here in Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takrade. Cattle's Agri, your number one poultry plug. Fresh birds, sweet eggs, delivered with love. Get ready for our juicy Midofopa package. You get 1 broiler, 1 layer, 2 crates of eggs, plus our special chicken spices, all for only 450 Ghana cedis. Midofopa, sweet value for you. Or go big with our Cocoa Bolobo package. That is 2 broilers, 2 layers, 2 crates of eggs, and chicken spices, just for 800 Ghana cedis. A Cocoa Bolobo. More chicken, more joy. And for families and corporate bodies ready to feast, try our Odon Soda package. 3 broilers, 3 layers, 3 crates of eggs, plus spices for only 1,200 Ghana cedis. Order now, enjoy more. And the best part is, corporate orders come with free delivery. Terms and conditions apply. Call us now. 0558 376127 or 0241 674268 or 020 331 5557. This Christmas, choose Cartoons Agri Limited. Cartoons Agri Limited. Freshness you can trust.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension, just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, a simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy kwa. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt. Yes. And then boom. Confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family payment? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the...
Right, so welcome back. This is Business Edge on Metro TV. I am Desmond Okreku. So we're getting into a conversation very, very important about a sector that is the backbone of Ghana's economy, and that is the agricultural sector. Right after the 41st Farmers' Day that took place on Friday, December 5th, in the Volta regional capital of Ho. And we're going to be speaking about the sector going forward into next year. You know, some of the reforms, some of the policies that needs to come into shape the sector going forward. But of course, for my guest and his outfit also, they're calling for a new structure, and in this way they're calling for a regulator, an authority to regulate, you know, some of these things in the agricultural space. And so it's a very important one that we'll get to talk about that. So you can join us on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana, DSTV channel 277. Also, you can listen to us live on radio 94.1 FM. So joining me this afternoon is Andrews Adukwetego. He's General Secretary for the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAU. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here on the show.
Good afternoon, Desmond.
Good to see you. I know you've had a tiring few days from planning towards the Farmers' Day, and after that also. Where were you exactly, and how did that go for you?
Thank you very much. Greetings to us all. And breakfast, and you are about to take your lunch.
Right.
And you should be clapping and thanking the farmer. Somebody put that food on your table.
Okay, right. So I would just ask that you bring it down a little bit so that when Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So breakfast today. Okay. No,
it is a great fast. No, we should appreciate. You see, when you can read, we say that you should thank a teacher.
Right.
So if you are eating, and then it's a high time that we consider agriculture or farming as an essential service provider. you
Right.
know. So this year's Farmers' Day was fantastic, especially being celebrated in all the districts and at certain regional centers, and ourselves being privileged enough to participate at a national event at Ho. Ho is the oxygen, the Volta region is the oxygen city. And when you live in Ho, you see that the place is good.
Yeah. It says I've been, well, I'm a half, well, so I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah. I schooled there at the Ho Technical University, and
Right.
It's a great area. So no wonder it hosted this year's Farmers' Day. The chiefs, the paramountcy was present to grace the occasion. The people themselves, as I was living there yesterday, they were still celebrating.
They were still celebrating.
Yeah, they were still celebrating. The machines, those who came to do exhibition, were all there.
Right.
And the fun was not just for the day, but it also gives a picture of how we are taking our farmers serious. And then the food that they were selling there, most of them were made in Ghana. products.
Right.
So it was, and then you have all these organizations. You see the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research,
Right.
the Food Research Institute. They came there with the locally produced and processed things, the precursor that had health implications or health advantages and the rest. So there were things, cocoa board was there from Craig. You see cocoa liquor, you see cocoa soap, and then you saw a demonstration that when you take cocoa, it has a medicinal value. Actually, cocoa is not just an agricultural crop or an economic crop, it's also a medical commodity. When you go to the Amazons those days, the Amazonians, it's not just the people who were living there and they were living over 100 years. Their leadership were those who were taking cocoa beans. So cocoa is a special product. And yesterday I had pieces, the raw one that have been dried.
Yeah.
That is the 100% chocolate, no milk, no sugar.
There's
and
nothing.
You chew it like granules. It would purge your system. So Ghana is rich, and then the Farmers' Day was fantastic, especially my information and what I saw is every awardee received his award.
His award. And that is what I was coming to, because we're talking about appreciating our farmers and acknowledging that they are the backbone to our economy and giving us food to eat every time. But the other question has also, over the years, has gone to be like, are they honored enough? Do we honor them enough? And I know every first Friday of December, over the years, we've done this for 41 years, acknowledging them. But there have been questions about the prices that they receive. But you said this year there's been lots of applause for that particular bit, across the country. The Deputy Agriculture Minister, Agric Minister John Dumelo, when he was presenting the award, you could see his excitement and saying that this has never been done before and all of that. How important is it for us to appreciate farmers so much in this case that they see that their work is not going in vain?
You see, agriculture is the first occupation God himself gave to man.
Right.
Say, go and till the land. And then when God gave that land, it was fertile. You could plant cassava in the garden and you have it. So that was the first profession. And it is important that when people choose such a profession, they are honored. It's unfortunate that when we are looking at poorest people in Ghana, there is crop farming. Myself, being an agricultural person, it took me so much to go through the difficult course, and then you come out of school and nobody wants to recognize you.
Right.
Your crime at the university is, what course are you doing? I'm doing agric.
It's one of the most difficult courses, actually.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. I had a couple of friends who did agric in school.
Yeah.
And they will tell you how difficult it was.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. When people are writing 2 papers a week, we write back to back 4 to 6 papers in a week. And some courses, they write only 4 within the whole period.
Yeah.
We are writing 12 and 13. So it's a very difficult cause. So when our people who are producing the food, that is the farmers, they work on the rain, they work on the sun, the ultraviolet rays. And when you look at agriculture, according to the ILO, it is the third most dangerous occupation in the world. When you take away mining and you take away road construction, agric is the third most dangerous. So people who enter agric by nature have entered into an area of work that is precarious by nature. It has a lot of decent work deficits. So we need to be intentional about honoring the people. We need to be intentional about promoting safety within the industry. We need to be intentional about making it, I said the other day, sexy. That will attract young people. Now the average farmer is aged. I mean, the best farmer is over 82 years. And this is our best farmer. We are looking for a time where a 40-year-old woman will be the best farmer for Ghana. That the youthful population should go. We were honored to one of the things I saw there that you said Honorable John was talking so much about is the senior high schools that are doing agriculture. And you know, remember those days in our schools when teachers want to punish you, and they take you to the farm. Go and weed. Yes. So how can this type of system promote agriculture? So we grew up seeing agriculture as punishments. And if you see it like that, the job is already precarious and it is difficult. Then it is not. And also, when you look at crop farming, they are poor. So what is the attraction? You go to the university, you are doing agric. You say, oh, agric. You can lose many things because you are doing that. So when we start celebrating like we did in Ho, it was great.
It's good. And I must also say that in the past few years, we've had a number of young people getting into the sector. So although we may need a lot more, I'll get a few acres here and then start something so that, you know, as you mentioned, the age bracket will have a lot more youth in it and then drive towards that. And looking out for farmers and talking about making sure that they earn what they deserve and all that. There's a Ministry of Food and Agriculture that's the government machinery that's supposed to oversee all of that. But for GAWU, you are saying that you need an authority, which is different, to oversee the work of farmers or the whole agricultural space in the country. What exactly are you calling for? Isn't that what the ministry is doing?
The current structure, how it operates within our decentralized system. We have the Ministry of Agriculture that sits in Accra at the headquarters. And then at the district and the regional levels, we have at the regional level, we have the Regional Directorate.
Yes.
And that Regional Directorate is under the Regional Coordinating Council.
Okay.
And then you go to the district, it's under the District Assembly. So you can see some breakages when it comes to implementation of the policy. The Ministry of Agric, when you look at how our agricultural policy is driven by the ministry.
Yes.
So all the budget things and the rest given to the ministry. So the ministry must have a system where it is able to coordinate all the implementation of the policies it is running. That is, the Feed Ghana must have a system that coordinates all its policies and that the livestock program, all those things must be done. When you look at the system we have now, at the regional level, the Regional Directorate reports to the Regional Coordinating Council. And the Regional Coordinating Council has a lot of activities. So if agriculture is what drives us, that is the number one, we are an agrarian economy, then we must be intentional about how we roll our policies in a coordinated way. People who are, so when you go to the district, it's a Department of Agriculture. When you come to Accra, it's a Ministry of Agriculture. When we are implementing the policy, is it through the Municipal Assembly that has its own challenges already, or directly through the agricultural system? Who are they reporting to? Who is responsible for monitoring? Is it the ministry or is it the district assembly?
The district assembly.
Or the Regional Coordinating Council? Or MOFA itself in Accra will also be doing the monitoring. What we are calling for is Like when we go to the Ghana Education, the Ministry
So
of
it's the
Education,
Ministry of Education.
Yes, it has the Ghana Education Service under it, where the policies that are generated by the ministry are implemented by the GES. So when you look at teacher professional activities, their development and the rest, when you look at school support and the rest, they all come from GES. Circuit supervision, how to monitor the education infrastructure is GES that does it. So the ministry remains at the top and rules as the large political bridge between government itself and the agriculture people. So when you come to you go to Ministry of Health, they also have the Ghana Health Service. Coordinates all the agricultural, the health activities. It goes on to monitor its implementation, ensuring that every program that the ministry is running is effectively run and people are monitored, professionals who are there, their capacity is developed. All these things are intentional. When you come to agriculture, it is not the case. We have very good programs. We have very good ideas. We have very good policies. When you look at the previous administration, at a point in time, we even had a presidential initiative on oil palm. We should have this at the when we should have a ministry, when we should have a service that delivers that. So GAWU is calling for the Ghana Agriculture Service.
Ghana Agricultural Service.
To be able to implement all the good policies and coordinate it and then monitor it.
Okay, before we get into that, the current system, as you're mentioning, well, you've touched on a number of them, but is there really a problem that cannot be fixed within the current system, therefore needing the agricultural service that you are proposing? Is there, because I'm looking through the state agencies under agriculture in this country, right? We have the key bodies, or the key one, as we mentioned, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. That is the main government's body to develop policies and coordinating agricultural development. And then under it, you have the technical directorates, where you have the veterinary service, animal production, plant protection, all of these things. So you're saying that all of these things, including where would cocoa board, tree crop development, all of them, would they still be independent bodies as they are, or they will all get into the agricultural service as you are proposing? Yeah,
thank you. Like you mentioned, the various departments who play different roles. As we said, they play it independently.
Yes.
Not coordinated.
Right.
They are given separate budgets and they do their own things. What we are calling for is bringing all
of them together.
So once it is agriculture, you go to the Ghana Agricultural Service, and you can have the tree crops division there, you can have the animals division there, you can have the crops division there, you can have the Feed Ghana program that we are running now is seated there. All the elements of it is there, and it has its own director, the Director General, who supervises, and the Director General reports to the Ministry of Agriculture. So in the implementation of this, there are a certain coordination. The different programs speak to themselves. And then when it comes to monitoring, you are sure that Director General will come down and make system. We have an MAE department, monitoring department, that goes to monitor all of these things are implemented to the extent that it's implemented at the district level. And you know, at the district level, we have the agricultural extension agencies or agents that roll out the practical application of the policies with the farmer.
On the field,
But now, how it is implemented. We have the Ministry of Agriculture, MOFA, seated in Accra. And then the district agricultural system are now departments of agriculture reporting to the district assemblies. And then you have all the animal section also doing its own thing. We think that this thing is too fragmented, and that makes supervision very difficult.
Very difficult.
And the system we roll, you know, we have failed before under a certain planting for food and jobs.
We failed?
When it came at the beginning,
okay,
we all hailed it. We all supported it because the ideas where we grow what we eat, also emanates from there. It's very good. But in terms of the implementation...
The implementation wasn't too
well
good.
Coordinated. And in the end, today, you don't know who to ask for anything, which department failed, who failed, and it's all boxed down to the ministry. It shouldn't be so with agriculture. That's why Gawo is calling for the agricultural, Ghana Agricultural Service, that's in short GAS, to bring all these groups together and an act of parliament. Because when you go to the ministry, the Ghana Education Service was established by an act of parliament to coordinate all the educational activities and implement it. So we don't want to sit until the end when we see a failure, then we come to talk. But we are bringing this to the doorstep, to the attention of government, that we want to properly coordinate and implement these activities. We want a certain supervisory mechanism. The president at the Farmers' Day called on all of us to monitor the implementation of the Feed Ghana program. All of us.
Yeah.
Shouldn't take only them. And I think to be able to institutionalize, to monitor this, we need to institutionalize it. So people, individuals who are monitoring, will know where to go, who to call on, who to question, and then there is a law that is backing it. And once there is a law backing a certain system, you can even go to court and request that this and this that you said you are doing, you are not doing. So that is why we want a coordinated unit to implement all these ones. And that all the elements under it will be sitting and talking to themselves. Agriculture relates to itself naturally. So animal, crops, they relate to themselves naturally.
Well, I'm also thinking that the sector is a very big sector. And it is because of that. That is why I know you've mentioned, I know maybe that is really that MOFA is in Accra. Is it that there's a feeling that because it is in Accra, there's not exactly touching base with the farmers whose works are really in the hinterlands? So as you mentioned, goes from MOFA here in Accra to the regional and then to the districts. You feel they are not getting in touch with the farmers, and the farmers are also not getting their implementation of the policies and some of the things. Well, is that also a contributing factor calling for this service?
They do. They are in touch with farmers, and they are on the ground. They work with people. What system do they use to work on the ground? Ghana is we are running a decentralized administrative system.
Yes.
And we need to equip ourselves. We need to structure ourselves. Our decentralized system is at its own challenges that we are looking at. The autonomy, the ability to generate its own resources, and the register challenges we are looking at. When we look at the budget that was read, a certain amount of money was given to agriculture. How does it flow down? So those are the areas we are calling for on government to pay special attention to. When, like I explained to you earlier on, when you look at the departments of agriculture, they are being supervised or they run under the district administration and the regional coordinating councils in case of the regions.
Right.
And so you can't see the clear linkages. When you look at the agriculture extension agent, he works under the Department of Agriculture at the local level, reporting to the district administration, who already has its own problems. So we're saying that instead of this fragmentation, so when MOFA is coming down to the people through it works actually with the Department of Agric at the district level. They do some work together now.
Yeah.
But what we are saying is that there should be a structure where the people, agricultural extension agents, reporting to they should report to an agricultural structure. You get it? Where they report, when they are receiving support, it must come
from that
system. When they are reporting on the support they have received, it must go through that system. It's so complicated and the policies we are running we're running it against time. We are reviving our whole agricultural industry. And we think that reviving it must also go with the level of institutions we create within the space to be able to coordinate its activities, to be able to supervise its activities, to be able to direct its activities for efficient use of resources. So an agricultural extension agency agent knows that when I have a problem, these are the channels I have to go through. And we think that the current system has some deficiencies, and that is why we call on the government to consider the Ghana Agricultural Service.
So far, who have you been able to speak to about this? Are there some the proposals you're making?
Yeah.
Have you submitted it to the authorities?
We have very good relations with Honorable Eric, the Office of the Ministry for Agriculture. So we have made a formal submission to him, and we respect his office to place this before cabinet, and let us all start talking about it. This is our proposal. We have had a very detailed proposal, and we are ready to also engage government in the execution. Bringing up a policy does not take a day, calls for a lot of
consultations, yes,
and the rest. And then our document may not be. Government will also have its own agenda and its own plans and the rest. And we want to see all these things so that we can strengthen our agricultural system. We want every good policy that government has in mind be rolled out to make a change in the life of the farmer and bring food to my table.
Talking about the changes in the lives of farmers, of course, we know that you say you submitted this already, so we're hoping that it goes through. So we're moving away to farmers who are working in this country, and now bringing it at the doors of just a year that this government was voted in. They've been in office for
a little over a year.
Close to a year. How would you say that the policies of this government has been so far in terms of handling our farmers, well, in terms of making sure that we're taking them out of that space where we say they are poor, in terms of the value chain in the agricultural space?
Yeah, thank you. One of the reasons why we supported the government policy is because we saw hope in it.
Right.
And then we also saw it is doable. And we saw with a little orientation, we can change the agricultural space for the good.
Right.
And when agricultural space changes for the good, jobs are provided. When agriculture space changes for the good, farmers receive the appropriate reward that they deserve. And agriculture is also work. The banker is in the bank.
Oh, definitely.
The police is in the uniform. The farmer is also a farmer, and it's a profession.
Right.
Yeah, so we saw all that in the policies that government is rolling, and that is why we supported it. Once we have supported it, we are also monitoring the implementation. We are not just supporting and sitting down. We want to see how the policies are rolled out. That's how come we propose gas. We also want to see how farmers benefit. We have history in this country where government will have a policy that is very good, and in the end, it becomes a political tool of winning votes.
True.
It becomes selective in terms of who benefits.
Who benefits from that?
We know where we come from. So we just don't go by the slogans. We want to see the slogans reflecting in the lives of people. And we see some good intentions at this moment coming from the programs and the policies that we are rolling. So for example, in the recent launch of the
Nkukong-Kiti.
Me, I've even gone beyond Nkukong-Kiti.
Oh, yeah, I can say
I've also come to fish.
Oh.
Fish in Nkukong-Kiti. But I could fish in them. So we are doing the Nkukong-Kiti.
Right.
And then the way the selection went on, people voluntarily knowing where to go. We had a small challenge that information on Nkukong-Kiti, where to go, who to register with. People don't know.
People don't know.
Now, when I ask you if you want to go into Nkukong-Kiti, where do you go? Yes, and where you sit, you should know. So that is part of the.
You go to the ministry, I guess.
That is where we all know. But it is going to happen in your hometown.
True.
So you should also know person in the village must also know.
Right.
That's why we call for the Ghana Agricultural Service. But this time, adverts will be going on, information will be going around. If you want to participate, go to A, B, C, D. This is what, and that is what we are calling on government to make available. The information on the policies running must be intentional. We must have a whole information through the NCCEs and the rest. It must be intentional to go to the people. So a graduate who wants to go into it, I have many calls. Say, General Secretary, I want to go into agriculture.
You want to get into, okay.
What do I do? Where do I go? And once people speak like this, you know that, you notice they need information and more organized information. And we think that the ministry must improve in this area of information. But rolling out the Nkukon, we call on people to be more inquisitive, people to organize, farmers to organize themselves and assess these ones, whilst government gives us more information on that one.
Right. I just wanted to give the information as we're talking about Nkukon Kiti. So to our viewers out there who will be wondering how to get to be part of it, let me just share with you that you can contact your district Directorate of Agriculture of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture as has been mentioned, and they conduct site inspections to confirm the suitability of your space. And then there are some documents that you're going to be filling. And then you get 50 beds, broilers and layers, fee support, technical guidance, and all that. So that's, for me, I think it's a brilliant program. The Feed Ghana, I think that's also another initiative that is commendable. Although, I mean, we should be doing this from many, many years ago. We cannot be in school, we cannot have these number of schools in our country where again we're teaching agric from the second cycle institutions to the university, and then when it comes to the food that they have to consume, it is not what they're being taught to consume, locally made products, and that has become a burden in terms of the amount of money government spends in importing rice and all of these things for our schools. How is this initiative very, very important to us as a country, and to make sure the implementation, yet again, another problem, that it is implemented well and we get the full benefit of it for our second cycles, wherever that food may be needed, and then cut the cost from government on the spending on some of these things.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think better late than never. We adjusted our taste to foreign things, foreign products.
Right.
When you go to the market and you are buying something, if it is made in Ghana, it means it's not good. If it's made in UK or anywhere,
any other place, yeah.
In agriculture, it is not the case. Our food that we consume is, in terms of its health properties, are stronger when you take cocoa, when you take Ghana's own rice.
Right.
Anything that comes from outside, look at the poultry products. You don't see the head, you see the thigh. We call it poultry spare parts. Those things. No, we don't know where they are coming from. We don't know when those things, the thighs and the rest, were come. We don't know. What we know is that the poultry produced by the Ghana Poultry Farmers Association was produced here. We know how it was produced, and we can certify that those ones are more nutritious. Those ones, in terms of its health values, the Ghanaian ones are better. And then when it comes to rice, you notice that the rice that is imported, call it perfumed.
Perfumed rice.
Yes. Sometimes it is quite strange. You have no idea how many years the shelf life outside there, because it's a surplus of another country that is coming here to our country. Let us look at what we are doing internally here. Our food, we deal with the other problems that we have. Those days, people were saying that when you are eating Ghana rice, you see stone inside. Today, it is not the case.
It's not like that.
We have machines to process our rice. People say that perfumed rice. Today, when you go to the Crop Research Institute, Ghana have made research to growing our own rice, where you can have a Ghana rice that is called a perfumed rice.
Yeah.
So we have the capacity to produce the rice that we eat. Only that we have sat for far too long for our irrigation system to be collapsing. When you go to places where we have irrigation system, you have sand in the system. We need to remove all this and reset our irrigation facilities.
And is that where the one village, one dam comes in? And
don't pull me to areas that I wouldn't want to
no, because we're talking about irrigation, that's why I brought it. But
yes,
it did not help.
That was the idea.
That was the idea.
Yes, that if one agricultural village have a dam supported by the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority,
right.
That is why we are calling for the Ghana agricultural system, supported by the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, not something under different administration, one village, one dam for agriculture.
Right.
And then the agriculture minister does not know anything about it. The Irrigation Development Authority does not know anything about it. And we go and say we are developing irrigation schemes. That's where we saw big gutters and we said these are the dams that we have done.
Yeah.
It's not, it's a good policy if we are able to get dams at every farming areas so that farmers can do a 24-hour economy. For agriculture, 24-hour economy means all year-round farming. So you grow your crop, you harvest, you go through agricultural practices and processes to reclaim the land a little. After that, you go into the next. There is water available that is being given to you free of charge through a certain irrigation system.
Right.
And we can see some capital injected into irrigation. So although it's not called one village, one dam, we are expecting that every agricultural entity or space will have enough water to grow and grow within the 24-hour economy process. And I've explained what our 24-hour economy for agriculture means. All year-round vegetable production, all year-round rice production, all year-round poultry production, all year-round agriculture. And when we do this, we need certain basic things to support. We need finance. And we're happy when the president also said that we are looking at a single-digit interest in agricultural financing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would do you some good.
It will do farmers some big good. Because, and there is more to that than just the financing. In agriculture, it's not just the financing. You need to do certain risk analysis to be able to arrive. You need to do look at certain systems. What is your return going to be? We need to sit down and discuss all that. And when farmers are going for loan, the farmers who do not have all this time to do all these things are required to do them, because that is what the bank needs to assess. And we must take farmers.
But there needs to be an intervention for
the farmers
them.
In this direction, how to assess credit facilities, even if it's a single-digit one. And then what is expected? Agriculture is a high-risk business. Ghana have depended on rain-fed agriculture, and now we are developing the irrigation. So we are encouraging the banks that agriculture is becoming, it's not the high-risk thing they have known. Now systems are there to protect agriculture. We should begin to have an agricultural insurance system. The farmer must be able to go to an insurance company and say, come and insure my farm in case
of any
natural disaster. So all these things are packages that we are expecting. And to run these packages are the agricultural extension agents.
Right.
Let me just chip this one in before you can go. Now, as we sit today, we need agricultural extension agents who are the last point, the contact between the farmer and the office. So the farmer may not even know the Minister of Agri, but he knows the
extension officer.
The extension in cocoa is cocoa cratching. These days, we have women in extension in cocoa, so cocoa cratchwa. So cratching and cratchwa. Then agriculture extension, we have the agriculture cratchwa. They are the district, and they are rolling out this. As we speak now in Ghana, they are not enough.
We don't have enough of them.
We don't have enough of them. So one of the gaps of the program we are rolling is that if we don't have enough agricultural extension agents to advise farmers on the methodologies to do, then we will not have, it's one of the key areas we need to look at.
Okay.
Currently, there are about 1,500 agriculture farmers to one agriculture agent. That is the ratio.
About 1,000 to one agent.
Yes. That's the current situation. And the irony of it is that we have over 10,000 from Ohio, Nyankpala, the Kwadaso, the agricultural colleges who have graduated and are sitting at home.
They've not been given jobs to do.
They have not been given jobs to do. Unlike the teachers that we say they are extension service.
Yes.
So because they have a Ministry of Education and the Ghana
Education Service to do that.
To do that is working out for them. When you go to Ministry of Health, they have the ministry and then they have the Ghana Health Service, indicating to government regularly that the patient to doctor ratio or to nurse ratio is alarming. And so...
But why hasn't that been trumpeted a lot? I mean, it's... Wow. So 1,000... So these extension officers are supposed to be intermediaries between the farmer and the office, teaching them about maybe new technologies, all of these things. You have over 1,000 farmers.
500 farmers.
1,500 farmers.
To one agent.
To one agent. How does that agent even work?
Yes. And most of the agents too are not properly tooled. And when you look at, I don't want to bring the union things here, but when you look at the conditions of service of the agents, it's not very attractive. So you have a demotivated workforce that are supposed to roll out policies. And that's why we are calling again for the Ghana Agricultural Service. This will bring all this together and inform government that in this policy we are implementing, we would need more of this category of people. That's why we are calling on government now, through your media,
to do that.
That these people are sitting at home, the Minister of Employment or the Minister of Finance should make allocations available for them.
And that's one I'm sure that my producer Derek would be interested in. We definitely need to engage those officers or those who are done with the school, the extension agents who are done with school and have not been deployed yet because they've not gotten the go-ahead from the ministry. Well, if you just tuned in, we'll have a few minutes to wrap up on the show today. We're speaking to Andrew Adokwe Tego. He's General Secretary for GAW, that's the General Agricultural Workers Union. Now, Christmas is here. We are in December. A lot of people are going to be buying a lot of things. In fact, for us here at Metro TV, we are having the Metro TV Jollof Festival on 20th of December. So we'll need Nkoko Nkiti and all of that too. We'll need a Nkoko for that. But getting to the space, for a typical farmer, what's this season like? What are they anticipating?
Yeah, thank you. Christmas is an opportunity for all of us to celebrate. And Metro, I congratulate you for the celebration. And you have been with us in the whole journey when we talk about agricultural policy and raising awareness. This Christmas, we are using this medium to also tell Ghanaians that what we said we will do. The president called on us. GAWU had also called on using Ghanaian agricultural products to feed all state institutions. Government is #1 buyer. So government should buy what its people produces. Yeah. So the rice for the schools should come from Ghana.
Yeah.
The Nkoko for the schools.
Yes.
And now the Nkoko Ketenkete is not matured.
They are not matured yet to be consumed. So the actual Nkoko.
But the Ghana Poultry Farm Association have the capacity, so they are producing.
I think we even spoke that to them a few weeks ago about the glut with the egg situation and the onion situation also. So a lot of onion, just getting bad. And it will be sad as a farmer, you go all year round to do the work on the farm, and then it ends up like this.
Yeah. So the celebration of the Farmers' Day, this is what will show meaning. Right? In this Christmas, we will intentionally, through government systems, purchase made in Ghana. Us as Ghanaians who are looking for jobs for our people, jobs will not come from anywhere. And jobs will not come from other countries who will give you, bring agricultural commodities and you eat, and then you start looking for a job for your children. Who will provide that job? When you eat Ghana rice, you are supporting Ghanaian farmers, and they are supporting their children, and their children will have jobs. Agriculture is lucrative. Agriculture is not what people think agriculture is. It can be an area for better income.
Talking about that, have we created the environment for private participation? You know, I think yesterday I heard of a rice factory opened in Tamale and a number of others around the country, but many a times they do complain about we do not get the support. It is difficult to do this. How more should we be able to help them so that it elevates, you know, both sides, both public and private, for the betterment of the agricultural space?
Good. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Now, Ghana is gradually becoming food sufficient. You can see that when you get to the market, you can get something to buy, and at a price, it's not the way we want, but it's getting down gradually. And this is because farmers are gradually seeing hope in the receipt of support, and more farmers have become confident to grow. We have young people beginning to enter the area, and then so food supply will increase. And now for food supply to increase and celebrate the farmer, we must consume what they have produced. And then to consume it, we must have private sector also driving this one. Initially, I've even called for this Christmas in particular, the military should play a different role to this year.
Really?
Yeah, the military. They have very robust vehicles, war-like vehicles that can enter every terrain. Even when it is raining, they can go through. For now, we have no war. The vehicles are in the barracks. So let the military lead the process of going to the farm gate to bring food to the cities or to the buying points, and then link up with the traders, and then come. They can provide that service for free, and that will have implication, or that will affect the price of the food, because most of the things that make the food price go up is also about transport. So that's what we have called and private participation. But the private participation, sometimes we fear that when farmers are selling tilapia for 10 cedis at the farm gate, you are taking banku and tilapia in Accra, 2 balls of banku and one tilapia over 100 Ghana
over 100 cedis.
So who is actually benefiting from the farmers' work?
That is true. That's how we wrap it up on the show. Many thanks for joining us. Andrew Adokwete, who is General Secretary for the General Agricultural Workers. You know, we appreciate it. I mean, we have to continue this conversation.
No, we have to continue.
Right, so we're wrapping up on the show today. Many thanks for joining us here on the Business Edge. My name is Desmond Okrekudas. Remember, 20th December is the Metro TV Jollof Festival right here on our premises. So see you. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
The biggest cultural explosion of the year is here. The Afro-Brazil Ghana Festival 2025. December 12th and 13th at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park and Mausoleum. It's coming alive with 2 unforgettable days of culture, food, fashion, and music. Enjoy electrifying performances from Bansi Gadam, Adam, Go Get 'Em episode, Wiyala, Amanziba, Big Twins African music, and Dance Ensemble. Simon from Burkina Faso, and representing Brazil, Aline Crew. This historic festival is organized by Big Twins African Music and Dance Ensemble in collaboration with the Embassy of the Federated Republic of Brazil in Accra, supported by Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Ghana Tourism Authority.
It's happening this December. It's the biggest, the largest, the Boshills Jollof Party Festival. It is the Metro Jollof Festival happening on Saturday, 20th December 2025 at the forecourt of Metro TV. It is an all-day event with opportunity for exhibitors to sell this
If God is for us, who can be against us? Come join us, count our blessings, for the Lord has been good. It's the Jospon Zoom Lion Annual Thanksgiving Service 2025, brought to you in collaboration with PRWC Trasaco, E-Church of the Church of Pentecost, and the Central Mosque. It's a moment of reflection and gratitude to God, with our fathers of the faith, such as Apostle Dr. Dela Kwampa, Bishop Emeritus Jemsa, Reverend Eastwood Anaba, and the host, Elder Dr. Joseph Sianwe Japan. This is coming off on the 8th to 12th December 2025 across all designated centers nationwide, starting at 6 a.m. each morning. You can participate via our online platforms at Zoom Lion Limited and Jospon Group on Facebook and YouTube. Media partners: Metro TV, Pence Media Center, Original TV, and Original FM. Don't be left out.